Tesla has just released its vehicle production and deliveries report, and the numbers were much better than expected. And depending on the financial report, this could result in them being included into the S&P 500. Stay tuned to know more about this awesome quarter and what the S&P 500 inclusion could mean for Tesla. You're watching On Forward. On the second quarter, Tesla delivered just over 90,000 cars, highly exceeding Wall Street expectations, which were about 80,000 deliveries. The percentage of Model S and Model X keeps dropping when compared to cheaper options, like the Model 3 and Model Y. At the end of 2019, the Model S and X sales represented about 17% of the total, and that number has dropped to 13% on this quarter. This could be in part because of the recently introduced Model Y cannibalizing sales, and also the rumors about the Model S and Model X refresh. Although they delivered over 90,000 cars, they have produced around 82,000, and that is possible because they had vehicles produced on the first quarter that weren't delivered. This is a good sign for profitability, because they sold cars which manufacturing costs counted for the previous quarter. Compared to the second quarter of 2019, Tesla had a 5% decrease in deliveries year over year. This is incredible taking into account the global situation and the fact that the Fremont factory was shut down for about half the quarter. So, how was this possible? Remember the Shanghai Gigafactory, which is ramping up production of the Model 3, and it has played a big role on saving this quarter. This shows the importance of diversifying production. But to get the whole picture, we have to compare these numbers with the reports of regular automakers. GM sales have fallen 34% year over year, Toyota sales are down 35%, and Fiat Chrysler's numbers plummeted 39%. And here you can see why the stock jumped almost 8% to around $1,200 per share. With these results, Tesla continues to demonstrate high demand and adaptability, which we don't see in other automakers. And they almost meet all criteria for being included in the S&P 500 index. But there are 2 points that Tesla needs to check before. The first is having positive earnings in the most recent quarter. And the second is that the total GAAP income of the 4 most recent quarters must be positive. And they are really close. The last 3 quarters they've presented positive income, so with one more they would meet both requirements. If they don't, it is not the end of the world. If they can turn a profit on Q3 and the total income of the last 4 quarters keeps being positive, they would also be included. So the chances of Tesla being incorporated to the S&P 500 are pretty high in my opinion. Do you think they'll be able to make it this quarter? Leave your opinion below. This is big news. Tesla is demonstrating that their business model works, and they are not far from leaving behind traditional automakers, because if they don't make big changes soon, it will be simply too late. Which is the most important change in my opinion? I would say electrification without doubt. If they are able to get into the S&P 500, this would put them on the radar of many more people and validate their business model. So I am very excited to see Tesla's financial reports for Q2, which will probably take place in a few weeks. I'll be here talking about it. Consider subscribing so you don't miss out. Here you have 2 more videos that you may like. Thank you for watching. See you soon.